Attachment styles. Now, whether you know your attachment style or not, this video will give you some guidance on identifying what it is for you and how to improve your relationships with that understanding. Now, first of all, a bit of background on attachment styles. Now, we are not born with a particular attachment style. It's rather something that we develop. So our subconscious mind basically carries all of this information stored from our past relationships. And that includes, as a primary source, the relationships we had as children with our caregivers or our family. So these memories are basically like shadows that follow us around without our awareness. So we're totally unconscious of them. And it's not until we intentionally look at them and address our behavior in our current relationships or looking back at our past relationships that we can start to see those shadows, name them and identify them, and therefore confront them. So if you're a highly sensitive person, Dr. Elaine Aron spoke about attachment styles for highly sensitive people in her book, The Highly Sensitive Person. And there she explains that adult highly sensitive people tend to rate slightly higher in developing insecure attachment styles in comparison to non-highly sensitive people. And she suggests that as sensitive children, it's because it's easier for us to observe and pick up on the slightest relationship cues from other people. So we pick up on the cues, on the behaviors of our family members or our caregivers a lot more easily. And therefore, our environmental circumstances, so the environment that surrounds us, therefore informs our attachment. So in your current relationships or in your recent past relationships, here are a few ways in which your attachment style might be manifesting itself in a negative way. Questions for you. Do you or your partner, do one of you feel distant or struggle to connect with the other person? Do you or does your partner often nag the other person or feel very needy towards the other person, leaving the other one wanting more space and craving more space? If you're single, for example, when someone gets close to you, do you naturally feel like you need to then become very distant? Does it feel like people ask too much of you at times? Does it feel like your partner is asking too much of you? Or do you ask too much of them? Is it that type of neediness in the relationship? So in resolving these types of problematic patterns in our relationships, sometimes the core issue can be to do with attachment styles. So understanding our attachment styles and resolving the dynamics of the relationship in that way can be extremely helpful. Now, there are 4 attachment styles, and I'm going to be addressing the 3 most common ones. So the first is the anxious preoccupied attachment style. And with this, having an insecure anxious style means that we need consistent and tangible reassurance that we are loved and that we are cared for by the other person. And if we don't receive that reassurance, we then become very consumed and frightened that we might be rejected or abandoned. We become frightened that the other person might pull away from us. So people with this style tend to crave being in relationships, they crave the intimacy and they crave the love. And for that reason, they might struggle to be single. They might also go out on dates and enjoy the attention because it gives them an artificial sense of confidence, an artificial sense of self-esteem boost, right? So this type of reassurance, it can give them a sense of reassurance, right? If they have a superficial self-esteem boost when they're complimented or when people are flirting with them, for example. However, once the dates turn into a relationship, they start to become fearful of rejection. They might become jealous and in general quite distressed and anxious. So the key traits with the anxious preoccupied attachment style are emotional hunger, fantasy bond, a lack of nurturing, and turbulence. Okay, the next attachment style is the dismissive avoidant attachment style, and that's characterized by independence, assertiveness, and self-sufficiency. So these types of people are very good at being on their own and not feeling that they need anyone around them. So they have no problem being single, right? But they can also struggle to ask other people for support because they feel like they're so self-sufficient that they don't require other people, and that can be unhealthy because everyone needs to be able to ask for support at times. On the other hand, they can also be very sociable, so they might enjoy going on dates, but then they soon lose interest in the person, and as soon as the other person tries to start to connect on a deeper emotional level, they might start to emotionally distance themselves. So they might want to pursue the relationship and go ahead and pursue it, but with awareness that the other person might be on a different page. So they'll pursue it regardless of the needs of the other person. So the key traits with this are isolation, ambiguity, ambivalence, and emotionally distant. Then you've got the fearful avoidant style, which is quite a contradictory attachment style because it can alternate between the anxious and the dismissive avoidant. So people with this style want to be loved and want to connect with other people, but they'll struggle to trust people. So that means that they'll struggle to commit to relationships because, or even date people because they'll struggle to develop trust in the other person. So the key traits with this one are internal conflict, dramatic, unpredictable, and ambivalent. Right? Because the consequence of not being able to open up to people and connect with them and trust them is that it makes them very confused and distressed, and it can be quite painful. Now, finally, you've got the secure attachment style, which is the style that we're all aiming towards, right? Which means being comfortable with yourself, with both proximity and with autonomy. So these individuals are content, but they're also on their own. They're self-content, but they are also comfortable being in relationships with other people and comfortable asking for support when they need to. Dating is also not an issue for them. They're very confident. They're very open and honest people. So the key traits with this are confident, reciprocal, non-reactive, and resilient. Now, you might have more than one attachment style. It doesn't mean that you're only one of these. You can have parts of different traits from different attachment styles, and you might even have some of the secure style. So what we're all aiming towards is building on that secure style. So now I'll give you a few pointers on how you can grow further and further towards that secure style so that you can build healthier relationships. So first of all, I want you to give yourself the chance to digest this. So to digest what it is for you, what your attachment style is. And if you do want more of a detailed assessment, then there are quizzes online, because I did give you a brief summary of each of the attachment styles today. So if you're still not sure what your style is, then just go online and have a look at go through the quizzes and do the assessments that way. But yes, please reflect on your behavior, on your experiences and how they would have been influenced by your attachment style. Then if you're in a relationship, I want to encourage you to share what you've learnt with your partner so that you can understand each other better. It'll consequently help improve the dynamics of your relationship if you do understand each other better, and if you listen to each other and communicate your attachment styles with each other and understand each other's needs better. So the intention is to improve the dynamics in the relationship and communicate with each other. So showing compassion to each other is important there. And with all of this work, over time, it is possible to shift our attachment styles and to shift further and further towards the secure style. And sometimes our attachment style can change when we enter new and healthier relationships. So if we enter a relationship with someone who we feel that we can trust, who we feel more comfortable with, who seems less judgmental and who listens to us more, then it can lead us towards starting to develop more secure a more secure attachment style. So it can almost train the other person can almost train your mind to develop a more secure style, because you're less fearful of communicating with the other person. So communicating each other's needs is really important in all this, and also raising your own awareness of identifying the moments when your attachment style is manifesting itself, and therefore work towards improving it. So awareness is really key. So I hope you found this helpful, and I'd love to hear about your attachment style. Do let me know. I'm really curious about that. And if you need any help in helping to bring to the surface some of these behaviors and experiences that you might have had, and how it might be manifesting itself into your relationships today, if you're struggling to break any patterns, then that's what I specialize in helping people with. So do get in touch. We can arrange a free call together to discuss your situation, and then assess whether you'd be right for, or your situation would be right for the coaching process. I offer 3 different packages: 3 sessions, 6 sessions, or 12 sessions. And the intention of the free call is to help you identify the challenges in your life, and work towards developing an understanding of how coaching will help you and how my programs can help you. Okay, so please do send me a private message if you need to. I'd be more than happy to chat, and do get in touch. All right, have a great evening, guys.